We're going to give it about another minute and a half before we move into breakout rooms and I knock the candles out.
Welcome everybody on YouTube.
Yes.
Everybody wave to Facebook and YouTube people.
Hi.
Oh. So you've come back, which is good. We did flee last.
I've got 16 pictures of people up, but that's not everybody. Is there a way to get everybody up?
There are, yeah, I've got a bunch of people. I've got a second page of people right now.
There should be an
good.
arrow
Yeah, there's an arrow.
that tells you to.
So
that
if you
something.
want to see everybody at once, you want to be watching if you have the ability to do so in gallery. But if you would, once the worship starts and you want whoever is speaking or the music video to be in the center of your screen and larger, you want to be in what is a speaker view. So gallery lets you see everybody. Speaker view lets you see whoever the talking head, literally, will be, because no one has bodies on Zoom. Okay, well, welcome everybody to our Zoom room, our second Zoom room worship. Let's give a round of applause here. In just a moment, we will be going into breakout rooms for our good morning greeting. And then folks on Facebook and YouTube, you'll have to talk to yourself during that time, but it'll just be 3 minutes. And then we'll come back and officially start the worship. As it was last week, we ask for your understanding for our imperfection. Creating worship in Zoom is different than the smoothly edited worship that we were enjoying for most of the pandemic. This is live, which means we can forget to unmute ourselves. We can jump to the wrong part of the service maybe, or the video may not be in sync all the time. But as the president of our denomination has always said, this isn't about perfection. It's about creating a container for connection, community, and love. And I see connection, I see community, and I see love on my screen. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Lynette. Awesome to see you. Hey, Larry. So glad that you're here this morning. There's Larry's hand. What else do I need to tell you? At the end of the service, we are going to have a 20-minute virtual coffee hour, social hour, so please stay for that. If you don't have a chalice or a candle next to you, you might want to get one because Tina, who is co-leading worship today, will be lighting the chalice. And who wouldn't want the opportunity to light the chalice with Tina? Live in person. If you are new to the community, I hope that you will fill out one of the visitor cards that will be appearing in Zoom, that will also be appearing in Facebook if you're joining us via Facebook. So in a moment, we're sending you to breakout rooms. It's going to happen automatically, which means you don't have to accept the invitation, but be prepared. There's a moment where your screen might go blank. Hey, Turtle. And for a moment, you'll think, oh, I've been disconnected, but you're not. You're just going through the portal into the mysterious breakout room. You'll be able to unmute yourself once you get into the breakout room. And what we're asking, it's going to be about 3 minutes in breakout. We're asking whoever you land in that room with, introduce yourself. Not everybody knows everybody else. And then we have a question. What is your favorite place in nature? So you get to share your name and then tell a little bit about your favorite place in nature. And you will have to unmute in order to talk to each other. And that was a little confusing last week. So again, an invitation. Hey, Cleo, good to see you. An invitation to join us over in Zoom if you are watching in Facebook or you are watching on YouTube. Hi, Ida. Hi, Erica. It's good to see you. Hi, Paula. Paula's going to be dancing as always today. So we look for Paula in your Zoom room screen dancing during the hymns, although we have more staid hymns for a lot of it this week. We've got an awesome anthem that comes after my sermon, I have to say. Okay, I think it's time for Zoom rooms. We're all going to get sucked through the portal and drop into a breakout room.
Hold this for a second.
What is your favorite place in nature is our question. And maybe we are going into break. Hey, it really worked.
So just so you know, we are not on Facebook right now.
Oh, we're not.
No, the restream has gone to YouTube, but not Facebook. Chloe and I are working on it.
Okay.
I can hear Audrey talking on Zoom
No?
because she's in the other room.
The breakout rooms look nice. They worked. Isn't this a way bit more fun? It wasn't last week, though. Oh my God, it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare.
Well, I think that Chloe would say today that this is a rough one.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But she did perfectly in the run through.
Yeah, I can't get the link to post. It occurs to me that we might be on YouTube right now, just chatting. Hi YouTube.
Oh, that's probably true. Hi. So everybody's in breakout rooms. Oh, they're coming back. Here we go. You're the early ones coming back. Hopefully everybody else will. Hey, Betty, I didn't say hi before. It's good to see you. Good. Your backyard looks so nice, Leela, out there in such a gorgeous spring. Ida, you look very dramatic, your backdrop. Like it. Almost. And again, we will ask that everybody stay muted from now on, please. Hey, Rita.
Hola, buenos dias. Mi nombre es Lisa Lindsay, and it's the home stretch, but I currently serve gratefully as president of your amazing board of trustees. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno in sunny Fresno, California. It is wonderful to see so many of you here in our Zoom room as we gather for our annual Earth Day celebration. We welcome you no matter your race, culture of origin, age, spiritual background, or religious beliefs. You are welcome if you are lesbian, gay, bi, trans, gender fluid, questioning, or non-binary. We welcome you no matter your disabilities, the amount of money in your bank account, or your level of education. You are welcome with or without documentation. Todos son bienvenidos aquí. Please join me in lifting up our mission. No matter your disabilities, the amount of money in your bank account, or your level of education. You are La misión de la Iglesia Unitaria Universalista de Fresno es amar inclusivamente, crecer espiritualmente, servir con gratitud y trabajar por la justicia. The mission of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno is to love inclusively, grow spiritually, serve gratefully, and work for justice. And I now pass you over to Reverend Tim.
Good morning, everybody. Our Fire of Commitment pledge drive is drawing to a close, and I am happy to report that our fire of commitment, your fire of commitment, is burning bright. Hear this, our current pledge total is $598,947. That's 98.6% of our goal. We only have to raise $8,254 more to be at 100%. Yay, everybody, yay! If you are one of the handful, and yes, it's just now a handful of people who've not yet sent in your pledge, could you do so immediately? It lets us finalize our budget planning. You can send that information to pledge@uufresno.org, pledge@uufresno.org, and I gently pass you back to the regal presence of our president, Lisa.
1 year and 1 month ago, on March 15th, 2020, we held our first virtual Sunday service. 56 Sundays later, we continue to gather in this virtual sanctuary. Of course, we've stayed virtual because Unitarian Universalists prioritize and protect the most vulnerable among us. That's why we mask and socially distance in public. That's why we encourage everyone to get a vaccine, not only to protect yourself, but to protect others. We also know that some of you, myself included, are eager to return to the church campus. When the time comes, of course, not all of us will be able to gather on campus, so we will definitely continue live streaming services as well. Reverend Tim, the Board of Trustees, and the staff team believe that the time has come for this exciting step to be near. If Fresno County drops into the orange tier, we feel it is safe to return to in-person in the sanctuary. With that said, I am excited to announce that if and only if Fresno County is in the orange tier, our first service in person in our beautiful sanctuary in over a year's time will be held on Sunday, May 30th. That's just over a month away. Let's pause and celebrate this exciting news. And now I gently pass you over to Reverend Tim.
Thank you, Lisa. As we prepare to begin our service, and in a moment as Tina prepares to light the chalice, let's allow this sound of the tingsha to carry us to that place within that is filled with love, wisdom, and understanding.
Good morning. I'm Tina Botts, a member of the worship arts team. On Sunday mornings all over the world, Unitarian Universalists are lighting a flame in an open chalice as a symbol of our shared faith. For me, the chalice represents being held by the grace of the universe. The flame represents the light that guides me forward in the journey of life. It also represents the fire of change, the fragility of faith, and eternity. I hope you will join me in lighting a chalice or candle of your own this morning. Let's now join our voices in our song of praise, ye earthborn children of a star.
Ye earthborn children of a star, amid the depths of space, the cosmic wonder from afar, within our minds embrace. Look out with awe upon the art of countless living things, the counterpoint of part with part, as nature's chorus sings. Beyond the wonder you have wrought within your little time, the knowledge won, the wisdom sought, the ornaments of rhyme. Seek deeper still within your souls and sense the wonder there, the ceaseless thrust to noble goals of life more free and fair. Ye earthborn children of a star, amid the depths of space, the cosmic wonder from afar, within our minds embrace.
Hola, soy Danny. Howdy, friends. I'm Danny, and for today's Time for All Ages, I would like to tell you a story about a little girl who wanted to find her porpoise.
Well, Danny, I hate to interrupt, but you said she wanted to find her purpose, right? Purpose.
No, her porpoise. Porpoise.
But people don't have porpoises. They have purposes, right?
But the story is about a little girl who wanted a porpoise, like the mammal that swims in the sea.
This kind of porpoise.
So this kind of porpoise. Yeah. So I'm gonna tell the story about Amira, who really, really, really wanted a porpoise for her birthday. She was so excited that her birthday was coming up, and all she wanted was a porpoise. She told all of her friends at school, my grandparents and my parents, they're getting me a porpoise for my birthday. So then her birthday comes and rolls around, and she doesn't get a porpoise. And she goes to her parents and she demands to know why. Because like every 6-year-old knows they're supposed to get it. She demands to know why. Mom, Dad, why didn't I get a porpoise for my birthday? We can't give you a purpose. That's something you have to discover for yourself. And she goes, no, not a purpose. I said a porpoise, like this small mammal that lives in the sea. It's a little bit smaller than a dolphin. And her parents looked at her and they smiled and said, well, that's a wild animal. We wouldn't have gotten you that anyway. Amira was so frustrated. So she went to the people who can always fix it, Grandma and Grandpa. Grandma, Grandpa, why didn't I get a porpoise for my birthday? Grandma looked at her very sweetly and said, sweetheart, we can't give you a purpose. Some adults spend their entire life searching for a purpose and they never find out what it is. That's something you have to look deep within yourself and discover. No, a porpoise. Porpoise, like a dolphin, but a little bit smaller and cuter, and it swims in the ocean, and it's free, and they talk and they sing. Grandpa chuckled. He said, oh, well, we can't give you a porpoise. They're wild animals. They belong in the ocean. How about a stuffed animal? Would you like a stuffed animal porpoise? Amira rolled her eyes and stomped off. Why wouldn't anybody give her a porpoise? Well, I mean, I guess they do belong in the ocean, and the fish aquarium that she has on the table probably wouldn't hold one very well. She probably should ask for a betta fish. But why wouldn't anybody give her a purpose? Why did they keep talking about a purpose? And what exactly was a purpose? So Amira, being the impudent child that she is, went and she demanded to know what is a purpose of the adults in her life. And well, Amira, that's kind of hard to explain. Like, nobody has the same purpose, and it's like something that you discover for yourself, and it's like in your heart, and sometimes you feel it in your soul, and it's kind of like a calling. No, I can't explain what a calling is. It's complicated. It's something you have to discover. It's like in your heart and your soul. It's kind of like a purpose. Some adults were really helpful, though. Well, Amira, a purpose is something you spend your whole life journeying for, but you can discover it if you pay attention to what really matters to you. What is important to you? Who are the people that you admire, and why do you admire them? So Amira thought about it. When she thought about it, what did she care about? Who were the people who were her heroes? What did they care about? Well, she cared about porpoises. She cared about making sure that their home was clean. She cared about all the other fish in the sea. She cared about clean water. She cared about other animals. And she soon discovered that the fact that she wanted a porpoise meant that she wanted the earth to hold so many other wildlife creatures. And in that, she found her purpose. And she decided by the age of 16 that she wanted to be a marine biologist. And she did so much good work as she worked towards becoming a marine biologist that by the time she was a senior in high school, she had been given an award for helping conservation efforts all over Puerto Rico and helping to clean up the water. I hope that we can all find a purpose as admirable as Amira. With that, let's listen to Lorenzo and Quiet Hills.
There is a heartache in these hills. I am not afraid. There is a heartache in these hills. I am not afraid. There is a heartache in these hills. Though some may tremble, I am still, and I say, hope lives in these quiet hills. There is a sadness in the land. I seek the taste of hope. There is a sadness in the land. I seek the taste of hope. There is a sadness in the land with more sorrow than we can stand. But But I say, hope lives in these quiet hills. There is a sorrow in my heart. The taste of hope is sweet. There is a sorrow in my heart. The taste of hope is sweet. There is a sorrow in my heart, but I can feel the healing start, and I say, hope lives in these quiet hills. I say, hope lives in these quiet hills.
From the quiet of the hills to the quiet of our beating hearts. I invite us together to take a breath in, breathing in peace. We hold the moment, we breathe out love. And again, we breathe in peace, we hold, we transform it, and breathe out love. One more time, breathing in the promise of peace, we hold the moment, we let that precious breath of love, our love, out. And so we continue breathing together here in this sanctuary of connection, connected through our breath, connected by our sense of community, and connected by our sense of shared as well as individual purpose. And as we breathe, our breath takes us back over the last week, the last 7 days of our living, a gift. And as we breathe, 2 questions emerge for our reflection. The first, how in the last week were you unskillful with word or action? Will you forgive yourself and begin again in love? With love, we enter our time of sharing joys, sorrows, concerns, and gratitudes. If there's something you'd like to share, something that's in your heart or on your mind, we can type that into the comment box here in Zoom or on Facebook or in YouTube. If you're sharing about someone else, please use only the initial of their last name in order to protect their privacy. There's much to grieve this week and much to be concerned about. With the mass shooting this week in Indianapolis, it was the 45th mass shooting in this country in the month of April. Not in the year, but in the month of April. And so we grieve. We also lift up the painful murder of 2 persons of color, the Black man and a Black teenager. We remember the life of Dante Wright, struck down far, far too soon by law enforcement. And then again, we lift up the name of Adam Toledo, 13 years old, no longer with us. Justicia para Adam, justicia para Dante, justicia para todos ellos. If you would like to renew your commitment to the Black Lives Matter movement this morning, type BLM in the comment box. BLM. We also collectively, as a congregation, mourn the loss of one of our beloved members, Linda S., after many, many years of struggle with many different physical illnesses, and after a period of several months of real challenge, Linda passed gently into the mysteries of death. Linda is loved for her sparkling personality, for her wit, and yes, a little bit of sarcasm. She is loved for words spoken from the pulpit, from services led and sermons offered. Many new people walking into the sanctuary for the first time are greeted by Linda and welcomed into the love that is the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno. We mourn with Linda's family and send our love and prayers to Ron, her devoted husband. And Linda and Ron just recently celebrated their 50th anniversary. A Zoom memory room will be announced soon for us to gather and share memories and stories of Linda S. Linda, may you rest in peace, rest in love. As always happens in a congregation, we have great losses as well as great celebrations, often simultaneously. This week, we celebrate the 102nd birthday of Llename R. It's actually on April 24th. Llename has lived through two pandemics, the flu pandemic of 1919-1920, and now COVID-19 pandemic. Happy birthday, Llename. Happy birthday. And so, for all that has been shared, for all that we hold in the silence and sacredness of our beating hearts, and for all those who on this day have no one to remember them, no one to speak their name with love, we light our candle of community. By our remembering, may we and they be blessed. As is our custom, we light a second candle. This candle burns for the staggering number of over 3 million citizens of the world who have lost their lives worldwide in this pandemic. In the light of these flames, we join our voices in our call to meditation, Blessed Unrest.
Fill my days with blessed unrest, and my nights with dreams of justice. Make me a vessel for the turning of the tide. Llename de bendita inquietud, y mis sueños de la justicia. Seré un barco para el cambio de la marea. Fill my days with blessed unrest, and my nights with dreams of justice. Make me a vessel for the turning of the tide. Lléname de bendita inquietud, y mis sueños de la justicia. Seré un barco para el cambio de la marea. Fill my days with blessed unrest, and my nights with dreams of justice. Make me a vessel for the turning of the tide. Lléname de bendita inquietud, y mis sueños de la justicia. Seré un barco para el cambio de la marea.
From song into silence. Will you join with me in the spirit of mindfulness or prayer? Let us pray. Spirit of life, fuente de amor, source of love and wisdom and human compassion, God of our own heart's knowing. On this day, there is so much beauty around us. The spring is bursting. The buds are in bloom. The sun is shining. And we have hope in our hearts, hope brought by so many things. We also are uncertain. What will happen next is a question that dances in all of our hearts and minds. And we also see amidst so much beauty, so much brokenness. We cry, why? Why one more? Why yet one more? And we say and ask, what now? What now? Justice again and again deferred for so many vulnerable people in so many ways, be it because of race, be it because of economic opportunity. And so, Spirit of Life, fuente de amor, let us see the beauty, let us see the brokenness, and give us the compassion, the tenderness, and strength to hold both at the same time. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen.
Hi, this is Tina Botts again. Central to my spiritual practice is noticing and enjoying the simple things in life, particularly natural things. Growing up, my mom had a wide array of lovely flowers and trees in our garden. We had a great old weeping willow tree in the backyard, and my mom built a patio around it. Around the perimeter of the patio were the flowers she loved: petunias, calla lilies, violets and roses, geraniums, irises, and daisies. She would sit on the patio under the tree daily and just enjoy her surroundings. My mother's flowers and plants grew and flourished abundantly. I think my favorite was the honeysuckle tree she planted near the back of the yard. My mother showed me how to get the nectar. Just pull out the stem, she said, and voila. Every summer, my siblings and I would rush out to the honeysuckle tree to savor our favorite summertime treat. Inside the home, there were plants everywhere. My mother lovingly cared for these plants, watering them religiously, making sure they had the right amount of sunlight and that the temperature was right for their optimal health. She would prune them and fertilize them. She also talked to them a lot. Plants need love like everyone else, she would say. They need attention and conversation. My mother also made frequent visits to the local botanical gardens, going for long walks on winding paths, over little bridges covering streams. She loved greenhouses and open fields. I think wildflowers were her favorite. Sometimes I would go with her. Mostly we walked in silence, enjoying our time in nature together. Sometimes she would point out a flower or a plant and explain to me the kind of care that it required. It turns out that my mother had spent the summers of her childhood on a wild stretch of Michigan land she called White Cloud. The land belonged to her grandmother, Pauline. She, Pauline, and the rest of the extended family hiked the woods and swam in the river. Pauline was part Native American, I'm not sure what tribe, and shared with my mother her reverence for nature and her belief that all things were interconnected. I've always carried my mother's love of flowers and nature and beauty in wild natural things within me. In the quiet moments of each day when I stop and notice a bird of paradise or other lovely flower, when I notice the color of the sky, or when I hear the greetings of backyard birds in the morning, I am calmed. I am present. There is only now. My go-to refuge when I'm feeling confused or lost, sad or worried, is to go to the ocean. I sit there in the sand, looking out into the great expanse, listening to the waves rushing in, rushing out, reminding me of the turning of the great earth and the rhythms of life. This too shall pass. All is well by the ocean. I am one with all. I feel connected to everyone and everything. In those moments, sometimes I think of my mother or of Pauline, feeling them there with me, watching in silence and in awe.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you for inviting us back into your childhood and also for introducing us to the powerful spiritual guide that was your mom and is your mom, because she continues to speak through you. Let's join our voices in song. Wake now my senses and hear the earth call.
Wake now my senses and hear the earth call. Feel the deep power of being in all. Keep with the web of creation your vow, giving, receiving as love shows us how. Wake now compassion, give heed to the cry. Voices of suffering fill the wide sky. Take as your neighbor both stranger and friend, praying and striving their hardship to end. Wake now my conscience, with justice thy guide. Join join with all people whose rights are denied. Take not for granted a privileged place. God's love embraces the whole human race. Wake now, my vision of ministry clear. Brighten my pathway with radiance here. Mingle my calling with all who will share. Work toward a planet transformed by our care.
We've just sung what are among my favorite lyrics in Unitarian Universalism. Wake now, my senses, and hear the earth call. Feel the deep power of being in all. Keep with the web of creation your vow. Giving, receiving, as love shows us how. I think that most of us have had the experience of hearing the earth call to us in some way, in some place. The earth has called. If this sounds familiar to you, type the letter H for Hear the Earth Call in the comment box. As Tina touched upon at the end of her reflection just moments ago, one of the Earth's most powerful calls originates from the ocean. The sea calls to us. It is a primal pool, something connected to the core of our being. Something draws us to that sacred place of tidal pools, white-capped waves, and the turning of the tides. Unitarian Universalist minister, the Reverend Elizabeth Tarbox writes, I thought I heard the voice of the Spirit cry, come and find me. You won't have to look hard. Come to where the ocean touches the shore. Find me in the bright light bubbles breaking on the wet sand. Hear the gulls crying news of the endless ocean. Do not say I am lost, for you have found me. I am here. Imagine for a moment the ocean's edge on a hot summer day. We're at a crowded beach. We see countless human beings spread across the brightly colored beach blankets. Others plopped in uncomfortable nylon chairs or sitting with legs splayed in the sand. All looking out towards the great expanse of the sea. All those bodies, all those eyes focused out on that distant horizon where sky and water merge. To someone seeing this mass staring for the first time, it might look as if all these people have gathered at the ocean's edge, waiting for something. I believe people are drawn to the ocean because some part of us longs to return to where we came from. Our forebears were sea creatures who crawled from the ocean to find footing on land. The ebb and flow of the tides, nature's wet and wild rhythm, is the womb from which all of us emerged. Life began in the sea. The sea is literally our mother. We are called back to wait at its edge because on some primal level, we want to go home again. Whales have done just that. 420 million years ago, animal life came forward from the sea to walk on the earth for the first time. Then, about 53 million years ago, some animals went back to the sea. The ancient ancestors of our modern whales were the pakasitas, these large, furry, four-legged, wolf-sized earth animals who returned to feed and swim in the ocean. Over a few million years, they evolved into sea creatures, changing shape and structure into what we now know as over 80 species of whales. Even today, whale skeletons reveal ear, arm, and finger bones that harken back to when they lumbered on solid ground. They have lungs and breathe air as land creatures do. Whales were earth mammals like us, but they weren't content to sit at the beach staring out at the horizon. Through evolution, they found a way to go home again. Whales are remarkable beings who possess the wisdom of the deep. Thomas Berry, noted eco-theologian and earth scholar, writes, "In earlier indigenous cultures, the natural world was experienced primarily as a presence to be communed with and instructed by, not a collection of natural resources to be used for utilitarian purposes. The earlier indigenous peoples knew they were not alone, and that the powers present throughout the natural world were there to guide them and support them. The inner life of humans, the joy and exaltation we experience in celebrating our place in the great community of existence, these depended on our experience of the natural world that provides us with both our physical and our spiritual nourishment." The seventh principle of Unitarian Universalism echoes Berry's words, calling us to respect the interdependent web of existence of which we are a part. I don't believe it's coincidental that Spirit of Life is the most popular hymn sung in Unitarian Universalist congregations. Spirit of life, come unto me, sing in my heart, blow in the wind, rise in the sea, wings set me free. Few creatures better embody these words than the whale. Think of the whale rising in the sea, its explosive exhalation blowing in the wind high enough to be seen a mile away. Think of the whale with its intelligence, its complex songs of communication that allow it to talk to other whales across 1,000 miles of open sea. Think of the whale, which lives in community and cooperation with other whales. Think of the whale, its massive flippers waving like wings as it is set free in its breach. Poet Stanley Kunitz writes, "We cheered at the sign of your greatness when the black barrel of your head erupted, ramming the water, and you flowered for us in the jet of your spouting. All afternoon, you swam tirelessly round the bay. With such an easy motion, you seemed like something poured, not driven. You seemed to marry grace with power. And when you bounded into air, slapping your flukes, we thrilled to look upon pure energy incarnate. You seemed to ask of us not sympathy or love or understanding, but awe and wonder." If these images speak to your spirit, type the letter S for spirit in the comment box. Some religious traditions have enshrined the grace and power of whales. In ancient mythologies, the whale is often involved with creation itself. In the Jewish biblical account of creation, the whale is the first creature that God forms. In the Islamic tradition, once Allah creates the earth, it floats on great waters without anything to anchor it. The earth is in danger of tipping or floating away. So Allah sends an angel to hold the earth in place. But there's no firm ground for the angel to stand upon. A great whale is summoned, and its back becomes the foundation on which the angel stands while it holds the earth in place. The whale becoming the foundation that all life rests upon. For some indigenous peoples of Alaska, the whale ushered the dead to new life in the spirit world. The whales taught life and death, and then life again. In all these traditions, whales were, to again quote Thomas Berry, they were experienced primarily as a presence to be communed with and instructed by, not a collection of natural resources to be used for utilitarian purposes. The whale has much to teach us if we but watch, if we but listen. The whales might bring us back into right relationship with the natural world. In a lagoon in Mexico, they have done just that. In his book, A Re-Enchanted World, The Quest for a New Kinship with Nature, James William Gibson shares this true story of destruction and rebirth. The people who make a living fishing in San Ignacio Lagoon in Baja California, Mexico, had long been taught to fear gray whales, which had earned a reputation as the fish of the devil. In the 19th century, the New England whaling fleet had hunted gray whales in the lagoons of Baja, where they wintered and gave birth. In these awful hunts, sailors killed baby whales to bring their mothers close. The gray whales fought back, smashing boats, and became known as ferocious fighters. By 1921, the whales had been hunted nearly to extinction, and only after an international agreement for the regulation of whaling did the population slowly begin to increase again. Still, those who fished the lagoon remained fearful. Still, the whales avoided contact with humans. Then, in 1972, Francisco Pacheca Mayoral, who fished at San Ignacio Lagoon, broke with tradition. A gray whale came near Pacheco's panga, an open skiff, and he took a risk. He says, "I don't know what finally compelled me to reach out my hand. The moment I touched the whale for the first time, I felt something incredible. I lost my fear. I was amazed. It was like breaking through some kind of invisible wall. That moment I compare with when my first child was born. It leaves a deep impression in my heart." That mystical, natural moment initiated the friendly gray whale phenomenon. Panchico and other locals who fished began to greet and meet the whales. And the whales responded. Both adults alone and mothers with calves routinely approached boats to interact with humans. Decades later, the whales are still coming to the boats in San Ignacio Lagoon, generously offering people, humans, the opportunity to be emotionally and spiritually transformed by their beauty, grace, and power. Environmental journalist Dick Russell writes, "Only a little more than a century earlier, the gray whale's ancestors had fallen victim by the thousands to whalers' harpoons. Now, the whales responded with unspoken forgiveness to our outstretched hands. Russell continues. A gray whale, mother and calf pair, surges toward our panga. Weighing over 30 tons, 10 times the size of a large elephant, the mother dwarfs our boat. She could overturn us with a mere flick of the tail. Yet, I feel no trace of fear. The mother, using her body as a natural breakwater, seems to be coaxing the young one toward us. The mother turns on her side and gazes upward, her baseball-sized eye appearing moonstone blue, like that of some unfathomably old, unjudging God. It feels as though I am being read by the whale, as though my entire life, for one endless moment, is an open book. The look penetrates to the very depth of my being. Wake now our senses and hear the earth call. Feel the deep power of being in all. Keep with the web of creation our vow, giving, receiving, as love shows us how. Así sea, bendito sea. May it be so, blessed be. Amen.
Dum 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 dum. Dum 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 There's a river somewhere that flows through the lives of everyone, and it flows through the mountains and the valleys and the meadows of time. There's a star in the sky that brightens the lives of everyone. And the meadows of time. Yes, I do. Oh, yes, I do. 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 Yes, I do. There's a star in your eye that brightens the lives of everyone. And it brightens the mountains and the valleys and the meadows of time. Yes, it is a sweet song of love that sweetens the lives of everyone. And it sweetens the mountains and the valleys and the meadows of time. Yes, yes, it do. And there's a voice from the past that speaks through the lives of everyone, the lives of everyone. And it speaks through the mountains and the valleys and the meadows of time. There's a smile in your eyes that shines through the lives of everyone. And it shines through the mountains and the valleys and the meadows of time. Yes, it do. Yes, it do. Oh,
Hi, Tina Botts here once again. I'm so happy to be speaking to you today about what the Unitarian Universalist Church here in Fresno has meant to me. Here I found a spiritual home. I found friends and like-minded people who shared my values and my sense of spirituality. I found comfort and support, goodwill, and commitment. Our church holds each of us lightly. That is, it supports each of us and all of us in the pursuit of our own spiritual journeys, and does so without dogma or mythology. Love is the principal guide. I have so appreciated the virtual services that the church has created in the past year and that the church has developed during the time of lockdown and quarantine. It's amazing what the church has been able to put together on such short notice. With that said, I eagerly anticipate being able to attend in-person services again and to see the faces of so many people I have come to know so well and to love. And I see many of you here today. In order to continue its great work, the church needs your continued financial support, especially from those who are not pledging members and who enjoy and are uplifted by the virtual services. Personally, I have been so appreciative of the church's steadfast efforts to support the Black Lives Matter movement, and of the church's consistently reaching out to members and friends during the pandemic to keep us all connected and to keep our spirits nourished. For all of those pledging members who have been making an additional contribution each week, I thank you. And the Board of Trustees thanks you. And Reverend Tim thanks you. For those who haven't yet made a special contribution, I ask you to make this morning the morning you do so for the first time. And there are several ways you can make your offering, including, of course, Cash App, PayPal, credit card, and even text. A slide will appear with all the information in just a moment. But first, in the spirit of grateful generosity, will you join me in saying our words of offering? If not us, then who? If not open hearts, then what? If not now, then when? If not here, then where? If not generously, then how? If not us, then who? Thank you in advance for saying yes. And may this church continue to be worthy of the many forms of your gifts.
Muchas gracias for your generosity this morning. Thank you. Well, I am excited because I get to do the live in-person reveal of the winner of this week's Reverend Tim's Sunday Socks. This week, they continue the aquatic theme from last week in honor of Earth Day, and I knew we would be talking in part about oceans. And we had 3 competitors. There were the gray sperm whale socks right there. We had the beluga whale socks that you see there, and the orca socks, and orca are actually porpoises. And I was so certain that orca was going to come the winner, but again, by a tidal wave, it was the gray sperm whale. So hooray. And this was actually just on my foot until a few moments ago, and I took it off because there's no way I can stretch my foot up to the camera, that's for sure. I hope you will stay here for social hour, 20-minute social hour that will be happening at the end of the service. But first, we pass you to Tina for the extinguishing of the chalice.
Thank you, Tim. It's been wonderful to share virtual Sunday service with everyone this morning, and getting together with all of you and feeling the warmth of community has really meant a lot to me. As we prepare to end our service and enter into the afternoon, please join us in our chalice extinguishing words.
Extinguimos esta llama, pero no la luz de la verdad, el calor de comunidad o el fuego de nuestro compromiso. Estos los llevaremos en el corazón.
Thank you for joining us this morning, and we hope to see you all next week.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tina. And it's always a joy to co-lead worship with you. Thank you for bringing your spiritual depth and, again, the beauty of your heart to our worship. So appreciate it. Dear ones, we're about to have closing words and our sung benediction, but first, our Sunday services team, which help coordinate the services and also help invite guest speakers when I'm not preaching. They wanted us to pause for just a moment, though, and to again acknowledge the extraordinary service of 2 volunteers over the course of the pandemic. As most of you know, Jeremiah H. and Linda T. have given an extraordinary amount of their time to serve gratefully. Jeremiah, countless hours it's been like a full-time job, editing, sound mixing, and creating the worship that we've enjoyed for the last year. And then Linda, every Sunday, picking images, creating slides, lyric slides. A lot of time is given as well. So if you would like to thank Jeremiah and Linda, please type JH in the comment box, JH, so that they know this is not a casual appreciation, but it is a heartfelt, soulful appreciation of 2 people who have so served gratefully during this pandemic. So thank you for doing that. Well, dear ones, closing words. Let's take our hands, place them over our beating hearts. Go now in peace. May you leave this place knowing you are good and knowing you are loved. Take your love from this place, share it with the world. Stay safe until we meet again. And may the longtime sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and that pure light that is within you guide your way on. Blessed be. Amen.
Go from here in peace, go with love. Go from here in peace, go with love. Go from here in peace, go with love. In love. Shalom and Assalamu Alaikum.